To be honest, Alabama fans have been spoiled when it comes to the quarterback position. After A.J. McCarron, they had star players such as Blake Sims, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones, and most recently Bryce Young. Many of those guys are in the NFL right now, won national championships, or even won Heisman trophies. That is how spot on and insane the Alabama quarterback staff has been, but like everything in life, there's going to be ups and downs. Right now, that might be the case for the Alabama Crimson Tide. While they have 4 highly recruited quarterbacks on this year's roster, after yesterday's spring game, I was not too impressed with any of them, and it could finally be a down year for Alabama at the quarterback spot. No school or no staff is perfect, and in today's video, I want to talk about this year's quarterback room, talk about how they did yesterday in the spring game, and give my thoughts on if they have a problem, or if this is all just smoke. But before we get started, be sure to leave a like if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you love consistent college football content, turn on post notifications so you never miss when I upload, and let me know what player, team topic, or situation I can cover next. Now, let's go ahead and get started and talk about Alabama's quarterback room. So yeah, the Tide's last 4 starting quarterbacks were Bryce Young, Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jalen Hurts. All of those guys are either leading NFL teams, or in Young's case, just literally a few days away from being a franchise quarterback and getting his chance to play on Sundays. All 4 of those guys were insane, and 3 of them were blue chip recruits coming out of high school, with Mac Jones being the only guy who was truly under the radar. Right now, when you take a look at Alabama's current 2023 quarterback room, all 4 of them were highly recruited. Jalen Milroe at one time was a Texas commit and is a 4-star player who's now been in the program for 2 years. Ty Simpson was a 5-star coming out of high school who got a chance to redshirt last year and has all the potential in the world. And then their 2 freshmen were both ranked as top 10 quarterbacks in the class of 2023, in Eli Holstein and Dylan Lonergan. It's not like they have a bunch of walk-ons or 2-star quarterbacks to choose from. The guys they have in their quarterback room, pretty much every school would kill for. Except though, right now, none of them really seem to be ready. Last year, Jalen Milroe would end up taking over for Bryce Young when he got hurt, and while he was a capable runner and did have moments of brilliance, he definitely looked underprepared, his passing game wasn't super polished, and he didn't look like he was ready to take over. That's why pretty much everyone assumed that Ty Simpson would be the guy. If you think about it, if Milroe was really that good last year, then they wouldn't have had to rush Bryce back, and no one would have even been talking about a quarterback battle. Milroe had plenty of chances to prove he was good enough. He just didn't. Ty Simpson was a 5-star recruit coming out of Alabama and eventually committed to the Tide over Clemson, and this was a huge recruiting win for Nick Saban. Everyone's been talking about Simpson for years as he looks the par of an elite Alabama quarterback and has all the skills and tools necessary. Right now, I think it's a little bit more of a mental game and just a lack of experience. The other 2 guys I really don't know enough about, but both obviously put up big time numbers and were ranked as 4 stars for a reason. When we take a look at their spring game yesterday, it was definitely a mixed bag. Milroe ended up throwing for 2 scores and ran for 1, but there were 3 problems. 1, he didn't look very confident. 2, he threw 2 interceptions. And 3, he only completed 19 of 37 passes, and this is a glorified scrimmage, not a college football playoff game. When you take a look at Simpson, it really wasn't much better. He only attempted 5 passes last year, and that lack of experience showed. He ended up running for 58 yards and 6 carries, turned the ball over once, and went 12 of 26 with no touchdowns. Simpson definitely looked a lot worse than Milroe did, and Nick Saban had this to say, quote, "We've tried to build this program here with the guys that we recruit and the people in the program. But we've had a few guys that come to mind and make real impacts on the team, and if we see an opportunity to do that, we're always looking for a way to make our team better." I think that's Nick Saban silently saying they need to play better, as I don't actually think that Saban will go into the portal to get a quarterback, as over the last few years, they typically only have 3 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster, and right now they already have 4. It was quite evident yesterday that Milroe and Simpson each can make plays with their legs, but that's not going to win them games and not going to get them back to the college football playoff. It's also during a scrimmage in which the quarterbacks are wearing black jerseys and the defenders are basically told do not touch them at any cost. They both struggled when time was against them, and they were in the 2-minute drill type of stuff, and just overall, neither of them really looked that comfortable. Maybe the moment was too big, or the pressure has been too much, and I give way more of a pass to Simpson for that than I do Jalen, who has played in plenty of games to this point. Saban can say it better than I can, as he said, quote, "The big thing we're working on is the quarterback's ability to process what the defense is doing. I like both guys' athleticism to be able to extend plays and get out of trouble. They make plays with their feet, which they did a couple of times today, but at the same time, I think we've got to work on going through progressions and developing confidence in the passing game so that we can distribute the ball to other people who can make plays more effectively and more efficiently. Yesterday we saw Justice Haynes have 3 touchdowns, and the ball was passed around to plenty of receivers. And for the most part, Bama's biggest criticism last year was the lack of a star receiver, and while they may not have one yet, I'm a lot less worried about that than the quarterback spot. We cannot forget the 2 freshmen though, as both Dylan Lonergan and Eli Holstein would get a chance to play. Saban said, quote, "I'm pleased with the progress they're making, and I think they both have bright futures." Lonergan in particular could be the wild card in this battle. As Saban said, I think Lonergan has shown that he's got a little bit more poised playing the position. He's also accurate throwing the ball. Maybe he's just trying to get Dylan's confidence up, but I will say after watching some highlights, Dylan did look good in the short sample size that we've been provided. Right now, I'd still guess that Jalen is probably going to be the day 1 starter, but he will be on a tight leash with Simpson, and I really have no idea how this is going to play out. A few years ago, we saw true freshman Jalen Hurts play, and Saban has said multiple times he doesn't care how long you've been in the program or who you are, he's going to play the guy who gives you the best chance to win. I truly believe that the quarterback battle will stay between these 4 guys, as we saw a couple days ago some rumors swirling around the quarterback spot. There was an online rumbling that Tyler Van Dyke was reportedly interested in leaving Miami for Alabama, but that evaporated into thin air, and Miami put that to rest on Twitter, so I doubt that's going to happen. And with the portal closing on April 30th, we really only have 1 more week before that happens and for any other players to leave. And as of right now, there aren't any big names in the portal who even come close to the skill level or the potential of these 4 guys. One thing I will say though is that this is probably a lot of smoke. Both players were probably just nervous and are still trying to learn the playbook and learn defenses, and it's just a glorified scrimmage. People like to make too big of a deal about spring game, and I guess I'm capitalizing off that with today's video, but overall, I really wouldn't be worried because Nick Saban knows what he's doing, and Alabama always seems to do even better when they have a first-year starting quarterback. To give my honest take on what I think will happen, is I think that Milroe is going to be the week 1 starter. After that, I think that one of Lonergan or Holstein will end up transferring away from the program, and if things really look that bad between Milroe and Simpson, I could see Saban going with a freshman at some point during the year. That is absolute worst case scenario though, as more than likely both Jalen and Ty will be completely fine, and it looks like Alabama's going to have a strong running game, it looks like their line's getting a little bit better, and they're going to have a great defense again, so there's not a whole lot to worry about. But what's also interesting is they have a new offensive coordinator in Tommy Rees, and expectations are for the Tide to get back to the playoff, so they got to figure it out soon, and Saban has to make sure he puts the right guy out there. That's just my thoughts though, and what are yours? If you're a Bama fan, who do you think will win this year's starting quarterback job? What are your thoughts on this quarterback battle? And what player, topic, team, or situation should I cover next? Be sure to let me know down below, leave a like if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you're new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.